Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Indie Zone. My name is Kathy. On January 1st, 2025, Judge Stephen Hippler announced that the live portion of the hearings that are currently scheduled for the 23rd and 24th of January will be announced, the start of those hearings, via the Idaho Supreme Court's social media accounts, advising when the closed proceedings have concluded and estimating when the live stream proceedings will begin. Why was this necessary? Well, if we look at the body of the order, and as we previously reported on the Indie Zone podcast when this order came out late in the day on the 20th, the hearings on the 3rd and 24th, these are very crucial, very critical hearings on motions to suppress evidence and other related matters, will begin with live testimony, 9 o'clock a.m. on January 3rd. This is when the court will take up testimony of apparently witnesses that the defense and state have disclosed to the court and to each other that are sealed, so the public does not know who these witnesses will be. But this is how the hearings will begin, with live testimony related to defendants' motion to suppress regarding genetic information, IGG, and defendant's motion for a Franks hearing insofar as it regards the IGG investigation. So it appears that this closed session on the 3rd, commencing at 9 a.m., will be strictly related to the issues relative to testimony from witnesses on these two matters. To get some background on what a Franks hearing is, please watch one of the episodes of the Indie Zone, either on our podcast or here on YouTube, where we went over what a Franks hearing is, what it intends to accomplish, and what Mr. Kohberger's very high burden of proof is in succeeding on a Franks motion. The court then states, as indicated in the court's oral ruling, this portion of the hearing will be closed and sealed. So the portion of the live testimony closed to the public, sealed. There's a footnote. The court's oral ruling will be followed by a written order. We have previously stated that sometimes courts make verbal rulings, proclamations from the bench as to how, if they're granting something, if they're denying something. Yesterday, the 21st of January at 10 a.m., there was a hearing on the defense's motion to open up the motion to suppress as it relates to the IGG matter. It is one of multiple motions Mr. Kohberger has pending with the court seeking to suppress evidence. The defense wanted all of the briefings, motion, response, reply, as it relates to this motion to suppress IGG, open to the public, unsealed, and to have the hearing on the 3rd also be a public hearing. It appears the court denied that motion, and this is what the court's oral ruling undoubtedly is referring to here. It will be followed, now it's going to be reduced to writing. The court made an oral proclamation from the bench at the hearing that was closed to the public at 10 a.m., where just Mr. Kohberger and the two sides were present. So once that order hits the docket, we will report back to you here at the Indie Zone. So with the matter of the hearings where the testimony will happen being closed, the rest of the order says, following the close of this evidence, i.e. the aforementioned testimony related to these two matters, the court will then take up the following matters, which will be live streamed on a feed available to the public, subject to the court's determination to close any portion of that hearing by turning off the live stream feed as necessary. So now we go to the two footnotes. Footnote 2, the trial court administrator will cause a notice to be sent to the media and public via the Idaho Supreme Court social media accounts, advising when the closed proceedings have concluded and estimating when the live stream proceedings will begin. So Judge Hippler is telling us several things here. First, he's saying that it will be up to the trial court administrator to submit a notice to be sent to the Idaho Supreme Court, which will then have the responsibility via the Idaho Supreme Court social media accounts to provide a notice when the estimated time for the live hearings will occur. Because, of course, Judge Hippler does not know if these if the closed proceedings at 9 will last an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, a half hour. Once that part of the day's events ends, this is telling us that the court administrator will notify the Idaho Supreme Court, who will then submit a notice to the media and the public. So keep your eyes peeled on the Idaho Supreme Court's social media accounts. There is one on X, formerly known as Twitter, because that's how the public will then be notified as to when the live portion of the proceedings will commence. What is set to occur via live feed? One, testimony related to the defendant's remaining motions to suppress. The first motion to suppress, IGG, that's being done behind closed doors. So it's the other motions. What are the other motions? These are the other motions. There are multiple motions to suppress evidence filed on November 14th, 2024. You can read them, the responses, the replies, to the extent that they are public on the court docket. 2, arguments on defendant's motions to suppress. And 3, arguments on the defendant's motion to compel. So it's going to be testimony. Whatever witnesses both sides have disclosed will then provide testimony. The court has said here that the courtroom itself will not be open to the public because the need to revert to sealed proceedings on and off throughout the hearing. So what the court is telling us is that he anticipates that there will be times throughout the 3rd and 24th when these live hearings happen of a need to close off matters to the public. So number 1, he tells us here that the courtroom itself will not be open to the public. So any members of the media, family members, members of the public who had hoped to see the proceedings live will not be able to do so. The courtroom will not be open. The only way to see these live proceedings is going to be via the Ada County YouTube channel, and I provided a link here where you can get further information and go to the live stream from there. Testimony, the witnesses will get up on the stand and provide testimony, giving an educated guess that during part of, or perhaps all of the live testimony, that may be when the court's going to turn off the live feed. Arguments on defense's motion to suppress. You're going to see the defense get up first and argue on each and every motion why the court should grant that motion. You're then going to see the state standing up and saying, no, judge, this motion should not be granted, and here's the reasons why. And then likely what will happen is, because the defense is the moving party, you'll see defense counsel get up and make some statements explaining to why the state is wrong, and judge, here's why you should grant this motion. That is what argument is. Testimony, that's evidence from witnesses. Arguments, that's done by the counsel for both sides. So the court will let us know via an announcement sent to by the administrator, the Idaho Supreme Court social media accounts. My advice to anyone who is interested in watching this stream live to again monitor the Idaho Supreme Court social media accounts for an estimation of when the live proceedings will occur. We will be hosting a live event ourselves here on the Indie Zone this Saturday as a wrap-up as to what has been gleaned, what has been brought forward during the public portion of the hearings of the 3rd and 24th. I hope that you will join us live. If you can't, please join us for replay of that live event right here on our YouTube channel. This is Kathy. Thank you as always for joining us here today.